This Royal Enfield Continental GT, customer job. Pretty good looking bike from the factory. It came to me with this aftermarket system on it already. That looks pretty cool. Got an aftermarket seat for it. My job was to shorten the factory subframe and hoop it with an LED tail light. So normally a pretty simple job, especially with like the early Hondas and stuff like that. Real straightforward stuff. These bikes are a little bit different. That being because the subframe is quite a large diameter, and you've got to sort of make the hoop fit and make it look sort of seamless, even though it's a smaller diameter. So I could have bent a hoop up the same size as the subframe, but that would have looked a bit shit. It's just too big. So I'm going to go through how I've done that. I brought it in here to get some photos, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just do the whole video in here. So I'm going to reassemble it now, and as I reassemble it, I'll show you how I went about it, and then hopefully give you some ideas if you've got one of these or a bike with a similar sort of situation with a different size subframe to the hoop, how you can make it work and how you can get a seamless join so it still looks pretty good. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when the difference in diameter. So this is actually the factory hoop that I've cut down, modified, filled some holes on. So I'll put some photos up of that in a minute, as well as a photo of what we started with. But you can see here, this diameter, about 32 millimeters. The diameter of the hoop is 25. A 32 millimeter hoop, when I had the seat sitting on it, it wouldn't have looked good. So I've used the factory one, and then to make it fit into the frame here. So from the factory, this section here is just slid in here, sleeve welded with like a big dirty MIG weld across there. I could have done the same thing, but I wanted to make it seamless. So to do that, I machined up some little sort of plugs in the same way I would normally machine up sleeves that sort of would join a hoop into a frame, and you'd plug weld it and then weld it around, standard deal. But you'll see I'll put the photo of the sleeves up now. Basically they're just a way that I can sort of plug weld it into the frame, plug weld it into the hoop, and then just get that gradual taper there without having to do that weld and grind. It would have just taken hours. So it seemed like the easiest way to do it, and I'm pretty happy with the blend there. Alright, so I'm going to start by showing you the wiring. This is obviously the last thing I did, but since we're about to cover all this up, I'll show you now. Standard LED strip, you get them online, they're cheap as fuck. You can get them on eBay, whatever. Come with a sort of 5 wires in them, because this has got the indicator, stoplight, tail light, and an earth. I've run the wires through the hoop here, in through the factory frame, drilled a little hole, rubber grommet, harness out there. And then what I've done is I've taken the plug off the standard wiring harness, cut that back here somewhere, and just spliced in the LED light into that factory harness. And that way it just plugs in like standard. So that's just the standard plug there. If we can just click that to click in, like that. That tucks down in there like that, out of the way. Exactly the same as the standard setup. And to be honest, like if you didn't know, hopefully that would just look like a stock standard setup, right? Alright, so next up we've got this little license plate bracket that I've fabbed up here. It's out of some small gauge aluminium. Put a couple of dimples in it, just fucking because. That hooks in under here, like that. So I'll bolt this in now, and I'll show you this bracket that I had to make on the bottom of the hoop for this to bolt to. This is our little bracket here for the license plate tag to bolt to. That is flush welded underneath. Terrible lighting, so you're not really going to be able to see, but you get the idea. The plate holder sort of comes up, bolts on the top here. All the bolts and hardware are all hidden underneath the fender, so we'll bolt that on now. That's that all bolted up. Could probably swap these out with some shorter bolts. I didn't actually have any, I thought I did. Anyway, I'll do that later. It's hidden by the fender anyway. But as you can see, it's kind of hidden a little bit in behind the hoop. You'll see when I bolt the plate on it. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, you can't see it anyway. It's just sort of, these dimples are just sort of, so I don't know why I put them in really. I guess they're stiffening up a little bit. Just because it looks cool, that's all. Alright, so now we've got the little fender. So this is the factory fender that I have trimmed down a lot. So we've got it to follow the curve of the new hoop. I'll see if I've got a photo, but it was long, right? Like it was a big fender. So we've cut heaps of it off there, and then I've also had to do a sort of an angle cut down there, and that's because you'll see when I bolt this up, it now follows the line of this shock gusset. So from the side profile, it just flows up into the bottom of the fender and then disappears up behind the hoop here. I think it looks pretty cool. It was easier to be able to reuse this factory one than to have to fab up a whole new fender out of alloy because, yeah, it's already got the mounting tabs on it. It's already black, even though it's plastic, it still looks all right. So we'll get this bolted up and then show what it looks like with this in place. Bam, done. That's it. I think it looks sick. Nice and snug against the hoop here. I've got a slight gap there. Like you could probably silicone that if you're worried about it, but I don't think it's necessary. Hides the hardware for the plate bracket. Follows the curve perfectly of the hoop. And then if you come down from the side angle here, you can see that it just sort of flows along from the shock gusset there. A little bit deceiving on the eye because I've taken the paint off that bit there, but when you imagine that's all black again, that's just going to flow in as one smooth line and then it just disappears up in under the hoop. That was actually, it came out better than I thought it would, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting that to look as tidy as it did, being that it's just a trimmed down factory one, but yeah, looked like it was always meant to be there. Right, so the number plate mount, probably to think I didn't put much thought into that, right? But that's what I want you to think. I put heaps of thought into it. So, I didn't really. I just matched some angles. So, this bracket here just matches this angle on this foot peg mount here. You'll see that now in this footage I'm showing, but that's basically it. It kind of follows a line to the seat, but being that it's aluminium, it's got a nice sharp crease on it, it's easy to manipulate and fold, so I'm going to leave that up to the owner on the angle that he wants to run his plate at. Personally, I like it at this angle, although I would probably be wanting to get a narrower plate, like just a personalised plate that's sort of 3 letters or numbers or whatever, just so it doesn't stick out as wide. And it'll sort of fit in with the hoop a bit better, but that's up to him, and I don't think this one looks horrible. We also toyed with the idea of running some sort of, you know, like the little plate light bolt sort of deals that you can get. They're kind of tacky, but the law kind of needs them. But I did put them on. Well, he supplied me with a couple, and actually one of them didn't work anyway. But when I put them on, they just look really shit. So I was like, nah, we're not running them. I'll just put some dome Allen heads on anyway, and I'll put the lights on and show you. The tail light lights up the plate anyway. Like they're a reflective plate, so I think he'll be fine. If he gets a real arsehole cop, then he might have some issues, but I think it's worth it for the cleaner look, really, to be honest. Alright, so last thing is the seat, and there's just something I need to show you before I clip this in. This seat, I don't know if it's because it's aftermarket or the factory seat was the same, whatever it is anyway. It sat up probably like 10 mil on the rider's right here. It's just on a bit of an angle, so you didn't notice with the standard setup, but when it's nice and snug up against the hoop, you just spot this big gap here and it just looked fucking horrible. So the seat mount here, I've just modified that a little bit, so I had to shave that down. That bolts onto this cross member in the frame here. So I've shaved it down, and I've shaved it at a little bit of an angle, just so it pulls the seat down nice and tight. So I'll show you in a sec when we fit that. It just basically eliminates the gap that was on one side and just makes it fit nice and smooth. Ta-da! Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. Just going to get some photos done with this while I've got all this shit still set up. One thing I didn't mention is that the hoop actually has a 4-degree up sweep to it, just to sort of run with the lines of the seat a little bit better. It's really minor, you don't really notice it, but if I didn't and I ran it flat like I normally like to, due to the difference in diameter of the two tubes, there would have been a big gap under the seat and that would have looked a bit shitty. So just picked it up a little bit to run with the seat. I'm not painting this one. This is going back to the owner. He's going to take care of that. So I've just tried to make it as sort of simple and clean as possible for him in that regard. So it should just go to do a nice blend into the factory paint there. And then, yeah, we'll get back onto some of my other stuff. So appreciate your patience if you're a subscriber of this channel and you want to see more of my videos. Drag bike is still happening. That's nearly, I don't want to say it's nearly done, but it's getting to like the exciting bit where I'm choosing colors and stuff for that. I've also built a custom Tenere this year, which I haven't posted online really much at all. That's also nearly done. That's actually a little bit wild, actually. I've gone a bit overboard on that. So got a video coming for that soon. And then, yeah, I'm just going to try and maybe start filming some more customer stuff because I've been really busy with this stuff during the year and I haven't been filming it. And I figure you guys probably do want to see this sort of shit as well, especially if you've got like sort of bikes that I'm working on so you can see how I've done it. So that's going to do for this video. Try to get some more out soon. Thank you for watching, and any questions, as always, just hit me up on here or on Instagram, whatever's easiest. And I'll see you next time. Peace.